Hi, and welcome to episode 11 of AI Webster, the detransitioning episode, brought to you today by Martyr, with an exclamation mark. Perhaps I should have yelled that. Martyr is a novel by Kevin Akbar, and it was on the New York Times Best Review Books of 2024. I just started it. It seems good. I'll let you know why he's screaming the name Martyr later on, or maybe I won't. In episode 11, our detransitioning episode, I want to shift away from nostalgia towards Earl Haig, towards the criticism of language, according to Ronald Conrad. Now, Ronald Conrad wrote Process and Practice, and that was the book where I used that book as the basis for my Editing for Economy and Honesty unit. I started every class, maybe in the last decade or so of my career, by going over Cornell notes on how to edit for economy and honesty. And I'm just going to quote from him. On page 71, he talks about language abusers hope we will not think. Such attempts to avoid logical communication, to avoid real thought, may seem almost normal in our world of advertising campaigns, corporate hype, and political propaganda. Our exposure to this abuse has been immense. Yet, as you will see in the examples that follow, dishonesty of different kinds can produce not only self-serving and antisocial writing, but sometimes lazy, weak, and boring writing as well. As you study cliches, euphemisms, biased words, and jargon, you will note how categories overlap. Euphemisms and biased words tend to be cliches, and jargons tend to be euphemisms. The reason for all this may be the fact that in different ways, they are all dishonest. Edit them out of your writing. So my focus will be in the next few episodes on looking at convoluted, dishonest writing, often political. One of the passages he talks about is how we've become so accustomed to hearing dishonest language in media, in social media especially, but in politics and advertisement, that we developed an ear for it and we think it's normal. So I'm going to focus on politics and advertising, mostly, some vocal fry too, but on corrupted ways of communicating. So for instance, maybe a week, 2 weeks ago, 10 days ago, Mark Carney, who's likely going to be the next prime minister for about an hour and an hour and a half, he talked about the fentanyl crisis. And he said that the fentanyl situation was a crisis in the United States, but it was a challenge in Canada. Now, that fuzzy word challenge, it's a bit of corporate jargon. It's euphemistic. A challenge is something such as trying to do 10 clean chin-ups or trying to run a 5K race. When tens of thousands of people are dying of the opioid crisis or from the opioid crisis, or they're living on the streets, and so many hundreds of thousands of Canadians have firsthand experience with the nightmare that is fentanyl, to call that a challenge is ridiculous. Now, maybe, perhaps, what he's trying to do is create this mythology that the Americans aren't handling it as well as the government here. Nonsense. No one handles fentanyl well. It is a horror show. So it could be an air of superiority. He might just be so disconnected from reality that he hasn't seen any of the encampments in every major city in Canada. He hasn't encountered, he hasn't walked the streets on Dundas or Queen and experienced the difficulties of people strung out on fentanyl assaulting another human being. But in any case, he's dishonest with that. He really lost me on that. And I think the rank and file Canadians, I doubt if he'll last more than one election. I don't know if he'll even win his own riding once he finds one. He'll be out of politics very quickly. He will find politics a challenge. So in the next few episodes, I'm going to do these sporadically. I'm going to focus on dishonest language like that. I hope you like, I hope you subscribe, and I hope you tune in. Thank you.